What if the moon was your light, the hunt your domain, and the wild itself answered your call? This was the destiny of Artemis. Artemis, the firstborn child of Leto, revealed her divine power from the moment of her birth. With eyes as radiant as the moon and a miraculous energy, she eased her mother's labor pains and made possible the birth of her twin brother, Apollo. This act not only established her role as the goddess of childbirth, but also created a balance between life and death, showcasing her independence and strength from the very beginning. With Apollo's birth, Artemis embraced the role of protector and caretaker of her family, forming a deep bond with her mother and brother. This moment marked the beginning of her place in mythology as a goddess who could heal while also dwelling at the threshold of life and death. After her birth, the young Artemis, with unwavering resolve, ascended to Olympus to ask her father, Zeus, for eternal virginity. She longed to roam the forests freely, unbound by the attachments of mortal or divine love. Moved by his daughter's independence and determination, Zeus granted her request and bestowed precious gifts, a golden bow, silver arrows, and a group of beautiful nymphs who would accompany and assist her in hunting and her wildlife. Artemis, with her golden bow on her shoulder and silver arrows at her waist, roamed through the dense forests of Greece, where the air was filled with the scent of damp earth and green leaves, and the sounds of birds and wild animals played like the music of nature. Her nymph companions, with long hair dancing in the wind and short, green garments revealing their agile bodies, hunted alongside her. Swift deer with golden antlers and soft hides were their main prey, yet Artemis always kept balance and hunted only what was necessary. This wild life, filled with the thrill of running among the trees and feeling the cold wind on her skin, reflected her deep love for nature. The nymphs, beautiful and immortal beings, with green eyes like forest leaves and gentle laughter that sweetened the air, were Artemis's loyal friends. They swam with her in rivers or rested in caves. Their hunts were full of sensory detail, the sound of arrows slicing through the air, the scent of fresh blood and earth, and the taste of wild fruits eaten after the chase. This group made Artemis the goddess of the wild, balancing the act of hunting with the duty of protecting animals and plants. Actaeon, a young hunter with a muscular body and curious eyes, stumbled upon a cave where Artemis and her nymphs were bathing. Cold, clear river water cascaded over Artemis's pale skin, while the air was filled with the fragrance of wildflowers. Hidden in the bushes, he caught sight of the goddess naked, violating her privacy. With storm-like blue eyes flashing with fury, Artemis cursed him and by divine power transformed his body into that of a stag, with tall antlers and brown hide. Actaeon's scream, turning into the cry of a deer, filled the forest and sent the birds scattering. Actaeon's loyal hounds, with black muzzles and sharp teeth that sensed the scent of blood, failed to recognize their former master and attacked him. The stag ran swiftly on its legs, but the dogs pursued him through the trees and thickets, whose leaves were stained red with blood. Artemis, who usually shunned love, fell in love with Orion, the giant hunter with a powerful body and dark eyes. They hunted together in the forests, where the scent of burning campfire wood and the sound of their laughter filled the air. Orion, with his long black hair and strength that could shake mountains, accompanied Artemis and entertained the nymphs. But Apollo, her jealous brother, grew concerned about their bond and devised a plan. The night winds, carrying the scent of the sea and beneath the shining stars, witnessed this forbidden love. Apollo, with golden hair and the radiance of the sun, tricked Artemis by telling her to strike a distant target in the sea. With her bow, she released a silver arrow, unknowingly killing Orion. As he swam in the water, the arrow split the waves and stained the sea with his blood. Artemis's cry of grief filled the heavens, and she carried Orion's body to the stars, where he shone forever as a constellation. Heracles, the muscular hero, draped in the Nemean lion's skin and with eyes full of determination, undertook his 9th labor in the land of the Amazons, to retrieve Hippolyta's belt. Hippolyta, the warrior queen with long red hair and a strong body, possessed a golden girdle given by Ares, symbol of the Amazons' power, who were devoted to Artemis. As their patron, Artemis at first opposed Heracles, but when he showed respect, she helped, or at least did not hinder him. Hippolyta, clad in bronze armor and carrying a sharp sword, at first willingly gave the belt, but Hera's schemes stirred conflict. Heracles fought the Amazons and claimed the girdle, yet Artemis forgave him when he captured her sacred stag, a sign of indirect aid. The clash of weapons and cries of warriors filled the battlefield, while Artemis watched from afar. Alongside her brother Apollo, Artemis played a key role in the Trojan War, often supporting the Trojans. When Agamemnon, the Greek leader with a black beard and bronze armor, insulted Artemis by hunting her sacred deer, she calmed the winds and stalled the Greek fleet at Aulis. The air was filled with the scent of salt and the sea, and the waves shimmered like a mirror. She demanded the sacrifice of Agamemnon's daughter, Iphigenia, but at the last moment replaced her with a deer, saving her life. On the battlefield, Artemis healed Trojans like Aeneas when they were wounded, and with her arrows she punished the Greeks. Yet in the clash of gods, Hera overpowered her and seized her bow, while the cries of deities and the stench of blood made the air heavy. Though Apollo and Artemis both supported Troy, she sometimes aided the Greeks when they showed respect. This role transformed Artemis into both a goddess of war and protector, and in the Iliad her legacy is emphasized. She followed her brother, yet always upheld her own sense of justice, leaving behind a heritage of influence in the great wars. Niobe, the proud queen of Thebes, with long golden hair and royal garments adorned with jewels, insulted Leto by boasting that she had more children. Enraged, Artemis and Apollo struck down Niobe's offspring with their precise arrows. The air filled with the cries of dying children and the stench of fresh blood, while Niobe, eyes brimming with tears, was forced to watch. Artemis slew the daughters and Apollo the sons. Broken and alone, Niobe was turned into stone, her eternal tears flowing into a spring, while the mountain winds caressed her rocky face and her everlasting cries echoed in the air. Her youthful, innocent children lay lifeless on the ground, and Artemis showed no mercy. Artemis always shared a deep bond with her beautiful nymphs, who ran like the wind through the forests, and with the wild animals that revered her, deer with golden antlers and soft hides, bears with thick fur, and birds with colorful feathers accompanied her, while the scent of wildflowers and damp earth filled the air. She protected the nymphs as if they were her sisters and considered the animals sacred. In caves and rivers, Artemis danced with the nymphs and healed the animals with hands that radiated divine energy, while the music of nature filled the scene. But if anyone harmed the creatures, she would punish them, such as when she sent forth the Caledonian boar. Artemis was known through symbols such as the deer, the bow, and the moon, and she was worshipped in temples like Ephesus. Festivals, sacrifices, and dances reinforced her place in Greek culture. Later in Rome, she became Diana with the same attributes, worshipped in Roman temples, and transformed into a universal goddess. Her character was rooted in virginity, hunting, and the protection of women. She aided pregnant women, yet also had the power to bring sudden death. Her virginity was a source of strength and a symbol of independence, and she safeguarded the nymphs and nature against men and injustices. In mythology, Artemis's loves and curses such as the tales of Callisto and Actaeon, show her stern justice, where she always maintained a balance between wrath and protection. She secured an eternal place on Olympus, and her legacy continues to this day. In modern culture, she is revered as an inspiring goddess of women's freedom and the protection of nature. The moonlight guards Artemis's hunt. If her tale touched you, let your like and comment echo in the wild, and subscribe to walk beneath her moon.